let us know if you'd like to ask a question.
Recording in progress.
Jeff, most importantly, how'd the CompuWare 2010s do?
They played well. They were in one for sure where their seeding was. They didn't win, but they played well.
It looked like Stetcher was in the regular jersey today. I mean, I don't know how long do you feel like he needs as a runway now that he's out of the non-contact?
I want to talk to our training staff about that. Let's see how he did today, how he reacts from it. Obviously, once you get into non-contact and he was physical out there, actually, then you get real close to on your way towards playing, being available to play. So we'll see where it goes.
And then with Gustav Lindstrom, how's he been relative to kind of your expectations of him coming into the year?
He's been somewhat, as expected. I think the biggest thing with Gustav is just better consistency on a night-to-night basis. I think there's nights where he's been real good and physical and good first pass, and there's been nights where he's been a little his attention to detail hasn't quite been good enough. So I think it's just a matter of that consistency in his approach every day.
I feel like the question on him coming up was always what he could bring offensively, but it seems like, especially right before the break there, he was jumping into the play a little bit, had some chances. Is that something you've seen at all evolve in him, or?
So for me, the question really wasn't that. I mean, they only have so many guys that can really add lots of offense and without taking poor risk. Like at the end of the day, if you're a guy who can move a puck, you're going to help offense. You just might not get the assist. It's just the reality. And I think at his best, he's a guy who can move a puck coming out of our end in the neutral zone to the right person who has the best chance to make the next best play. And that's where I think he helps offensively. Can he join the rush? Yes. Is he going to be a guy who puts up lots of points? He's yet to prove that at really, I think any level. So to think that's going to happen lots, I don't think. But I think the biggest thing is he's got to play great defensively and have a good first pass.
Thanks.
Yep.
William St. James.
Jeff, Philip Sedin, are you giving him a different look here coming out of the break, or?
I would say one thing that I want to do is I want to give Ras and Ernie a line that can have an identity, and I thought with Vladdy they had that, and they can be a line that can go out and play in a lot of different situations, which will help, I think, spread the minutes out a little bit. And so then as we kind of looked at it, there's multiple guys that have an opportunity to maybe get that spot on Larkin's line, and want to see Philip Zadina today there. So we'll look at the practice tape and see if we want to stay with it or not. It might be something we give some different guys chances during games.
What do you like that Vladislav adds to that line identity-wise?
He's first of all, he's got good chemistry with both those guys. He's good friends with both of them, and I think they've really, when they've been aligned together, bought into grinding in the ozone, putting pucks in behind him. I think Vladdy can play a lot of different ways, to be honest with you, and he's done a good job with Lark's line, and if it ends up hurting that Lark's line, then we might move him back. But I also think he, again, can kind of play north, all on the same page, give them some skill, give them ability to score around the net. So we'll see how it goes.
And let's just, with Philip, what do you want to see from him? I mean, for him to be at his...
Zadina?
Yeah.
Well, first, I just think confidence is a huge factor in all this, and I think he's hard on himself, and so sometimes that eats away at your confidence, and you don't, probably look as good as you should, because your confidence is down. So I just think he's, and I would say in the last 4 games or so, he's played a couple of good games where I thought his confidence looked higher, and I think when he's playing, in order to play in that line, he can't give up chances. You got to be good defensively, and then you got to help the offense in a lot of different ways. And one way is going to the net, and I do think that's an area that he didn't grow up doing, and I think a lot of guys have to learn that how important it is to get to the net, to get in front of people's eyes, things like that. I don't know if Victor Arvidsson always did that in the right winger from LA, but he does it, and he's a small guy, and he's really good in the net front, and that can add a huge element. And I'm not saying that it would be Z's job, but I do think that's an area that he's got to make sure he gets to if he's going to play on that line.
Just lastly, I mean, is it kind of like, Bertuzzi, Fabry, none of them are big guys, but they go to the net too, that he's got some models just within the team too.
Yeah.
And I think actually what the last game or the previous game, he's gotten some points by being around the net.
Correct, and I think, Fabs would be a good model for sure. They're both slight, they're not big men. Bert's got a little more to him, but they go to the net, and at the end of the day, again, that's where all the goals are scored. If you want to get consistent point production, unless you're a Connor McDavid or McKinnon or whatever, you got to get to the cage, and it's just the reality of it. I think the more we can get to the cage, the more consistent point production we'll have as a team and as individuals.
Ted Colvin?
Hey Jeff, is there an update on Varna and Letty? I mean, what's their status right now? Anything? It's been a week now.
Leds, I expect him to not not be super long. I think I don't know what that means exactly, but he's not certainly not that far away. Varna has an appointment mid-February here at some point, and that'll give us more clarity of what the timeline is really going to look like, and I don't know what that means until he kind of meets with his surgeon.
Have you kind of allowed yourself to just, wow, I mean, it's going to be like almost more or less like an addition at the trade deadline for you. I mean, a guy who can conceivably really spark your offense even more so.
Yeah, no, he's there's zero doubt he's one of the most talented players that we have. Certainly from a shooting standpoint and a stick skill standpoint, he's certainly as talented as anybody we have. That we haven't had available to us all year. So, if he comes in, we understand that's a big piece offensively, which always helps. I think being able to score can really change tides of games. Even the game the other night, if we score to go 2-0, there's a good chance that game is a different story. It changes the mentality for their team too, and you start to take away some hope and things like that. So certainly that's a factor, and his big challenge when he comes back is making sure he's complete. And as a team, we got to continue to make strides and get better defensively here, and he'll need to be part of that. But with that said, he certainly adds offense whenever he's available.
Hey Jeff, is this schedule in February going to be a little tricky to navigate? I mean, it's like, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier, it's almost like an American League schedule. I mean, days off in between and all that. You can focus on each and every game, but boy, there's some time off between those games.
Yeah, especially the one stretch after, I think it's the Rangers, when we have the 5 days. What I would say is it's going to be incumbent upon our players to understand the importance of each practice, and we're taking a couple extra days off at certain times to try to not, so it doesn't become so mundane. But we're going to have to change kind of our, usually at this time of year you're playing lots and you just kind of keep playing, and it's easy to get the guys excited about practice in October. It's a little bit harder in February, but we're going to have to change our approach and make sure that we're excited about practice every day when we go out there.
Ansar Khan?
Yeah, Jeff, as you get the post-All-Star break here, is there any one particular area of focus as far as team improvement?
I said it earlier, and it'll remain the same. It'll be a broken record, but it's being a better team defensively. And if I dive a little bit deeper into that, it would be not giving easy scoring chances up, grade A scoring chances. A year ago, we were pretty good at limiting grade A scoring chances, and we haven't been as good this year. We're creating more, but we haven't been as good defending those grade A scoring chances. So, that's done through making sure that we want to be aggressive at times in the O zone, aggressive down the walls with our D. To do that, you got to make sure you reload great. Your forwards are doing a good job looking after each other. And the other night against LA, we weren't good enough at that. We want to make sure that we manage the puck great. We understand the difference between making a play and living another day, and we got to continue to get good at D zone. So that all falls under the encompass of being better defensively and eliminating easy grade A scoring chances against them.
And even over the next few weeks, the schedule's spaced out here. Just how important is it to get Grice back up to speed to kind of take some of the load off of Nedeljkovic?
Yeah, it's important. I think Grice can definitely be a guy who can give us real good quality starts, and I think it's really, really difficult to play one goalie over and over and over. So we're going to get both going here, and hopefully they can give us great goaltending the rest of the year.
And I don't know if you mentioned this before, but is Giovanni Smith, is he injured or
no?
What's his?
No.
Did he practice today?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. Be back shortly with Jacob Brown.
Jeff, is Troy going to Philly?
I don't know that answer, to be dead honest with you. That was unknown